Hello everybody, welcome back to Cheryl's Creations. I know you're looking at my work table this morning, and one of the things that I want to do is talk about adjusting stitches for hats and headbands. So if this is your first time watching a video of mine, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. My name is Sheryl. I love to crochet. I love everything yarn. And I like to share what I know because it's amazing what little pieces of information can be helpful to others. And one of the things I'm doing this week is working on some hats and some headbands. And you know, sometimes when you read a pattern and it says 67 stitches or chain this many, sometimes it just doesn't work out to be what you think it is. And so I want to talk about a little bit of the differences. I've got a couple of different things. I got 3 different patterns set out here. And one of the things I did before I started the video was I went and I Googled hat sizes, you know, crochet hat size differences. And you can Google that. You can find it on Etsy. You can find it on Pinterest. But it'll tell you the number of stitches for a certain size head. Like an adult head is somewhere 21 to 24 inches. And so what you normally do is you subtract 2 inches, and that should be the length of your brim for your hat, or the circumference. I'll just use I have a little hat here. So we're talking about the roundness of a hat. And sometimes once you start stitching the pattern, it works out well. Sometimes you find that it's too big or too small. Everybody's heads are different sizes. So number one, I will post in the description a picture or some statistics about head sizes. But as I've been working, I've noticed that what's stated in a pattern isn't necessarily what I need, what I hoped for. And sometimes we just don't account for some different things. So I have 3 different things going on here. This first one, let me move these up. Okay. This is more like a traditional brim, okay, around the edge. And this is 10 single crochet in length this way. And this is, it's either 60 or 66. I forgot to count it again. But what this is back loop only. So you crochet your 10 stitches in your back loop, chain 1, turn, back loop, and that gives you this type of rim for your hat, okay? Then you would start upwards with your hat. Now, the pattern that I use this one on is I do a, it's not a basket weave. It's a waffle stitch hat. I do a waffle stitch hat. And the pattern I originally started using said 60 stitches is an adult size, using the hook and the gauging on the pattern. But what I noticed was it didn't fit most adults. So one of the things you have to do is you have to look at the type of pattern. Now, The waffle stitch is a 3-stitch repeat, okay? So what I've done is I knew I needed it bigger, so I added sections of 3. So if this is 66 inches, I added 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I added this much, and it made just enough of a difference to make the hat in the size range that I wanted, okay? Very simple hat. These can also be used in headbands. So this is the first pattern that I use. This one, this is a front post only headband, and this is 76 stitches long, okay? And then I do my back and forth, my back and forth. But you can see the size difference. You know, this one is 76 stitches, this is 66. Now this one, when I finish it, okay, it'll take up some of this length because I'm going to make it a twisted headband. So when you do that, you fold it in half with the right sides together. And then what you do is you intertwine, okay? So front, back, right? And you sew this together, okay? So that's going to take up a couple of stitches, maybe a ½ an inch. And then when you turn this, you get a headband. Let me grab real quick. I got one over here. Oh, that's the wrong stitch. Hang on. Oops. Here's one in navy blue. So when I put that together, okay, I stitched it, and when you turn it right side out, you get this nice, and I know it's hard to see, it's navy blue, but you get the twist in the front, okay, and then you have your front post crochet. So that takes up some of your length, because if I fold this in half and then I put this, okay, look at the size difference, okay? So that's something else that you want to take into consideration when making your hats and headbands, that the turning point, the connecting point can also take up some of your length, so you may have to adjust. This third one I have, this is a star stitch. This one's going to be a headband. I still have a couple rows yet to go. This is what one of these look like completed. That's the star stitch in red. But one of the things with this one is this is kind of a cluster stitch where you're bringing 3 stitches into the same loop. And this one started out with 76 stitches, okay? So this is 76 stitches. And maybe I'll put it this way. Maybe it looks a little better. So look out here, you know, I've got a good almost 2 inches, okay? So if I wrap that around my head, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, it's going to be huge. But what happens when you do this stitch, okay, is, I'm going to start from the end. I'm going to pull this out just a bit. So this one, okay, I start out with a single stitch, and then I'm going to do 1, 2, 3 and I'm going to bring them together. So every time I bring those 3 stitches together, it's going to bring that in a little bit. So sometimes your starting chain is going to shrink up a little bit because of the gathering of a stitch. So, you know, those are some tidbits about doing hats and headbands. The other thing is the length of a hat, okay, from the brim to the crown. Everybody is different, okay? Women's hats, maybe 4 or 5 inches. Men's hats, you may want 6 to 8 inches because sometimes their heads are taller. And sometimes even women have bigger heads or smaller heads. And so sometimes one size does not fit all. So as the winter season is coming, here in central Indiana, or north central is where I'm at, we had some snow flurries in the middle of the night. And, you know, it was, wind chills are in the teens this morning, probably 17, 18 degrees with a wind chill. And so we're starting to think about covering our ears to keep them warm. And I know how frustrated sometimes I get with doing hats and headbands, and they just don't come out the size I want. And so I wanted to share a little bit of the information that I have just kind of worked through making those types of projects. So just keep those tidbits in mind. Every pattern is a little different. Do check your pattern repeats so you can add or subtract sections. You know, for a 10 to 14-year-old, you may need a smaller size. Some adults need bigger. And so that's the information I wanted to share today. If these are helpful, if you like my videos, click like, click subscribe. Join me. If you hit that bell, it'll notify you when I post a new video. And I hope that if you're in the cold weather snap, that you're staying warm. And it's a great day to crochet away. See ya.